As a nurse in her previous life, she accidentally passed away from overwork due to overwhelming workload, and her soul accidentally penetrated the body of a 14-year-old girl with the same name and surname Blue Star. Royal Beast World. User Shen Xingchen, Constitution Setting. Wanling body. Originally, she didn't put this confusing setting at ease, but in real life, there were suddenly more pursuers and groups of pet beasts who were coquettish and coquettish towards her, which gradually made her feel the authenticity of this pit father's physique. Volkswagen Card Pool LV.1, Card Pool Panel with Upgrade Function. It seems that you can also unlock new card pools with different themes. Is it a pleasant surprise? But why is the probability of getting a pet card so low? Falling, keywords of the novel. Yubeast, I have an upgraded card pool panel without pop-ups. Yubeast, I have an upgraded card pool panel. Download the complete set of TXT. Yubeast, I have an upgraded card pool panel. Read the latest chapters. Chapter 1. World of Beasts. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1 Royal Beast World Huaguoli City, Pipa Road Lane Noodle Shop. Aunt Luo, didn't your daughter come to help today? A male student from Yusho University in the middle district of Lishur crossed his legs and picked up the fragrant braised noodles at a low table all night, not caring about the old restaurant and the greasy floor. With a break of the wooden chopsticks, he crouched down and began to indulge, but the steaming steam in the bowl still couldn't conceal the restlessness in his eyes. Not to mention him, several young boys around quietly straightened their ears to listen. "Ah, you think it's quite beautiful, kid." The middle-aged man next to him who poured vinegar on his face didn't wait for the boss's wife Luo Fong to respond, and he mercilessly mocked him first. "Can someone give you the jewelry they hold in their palm? What other advantages do you have besides having a face to see? Even if the little girl wants to date someone of similar age in the future." "Hey you." The male student blushed and felt his self-esteem being pricked into a sieve. Another young person who interned at a nearby pet therapy clinic also had an opinion. "No, uncle, you don't understand. It's not a matter of age. Xiaoxing's appearance is not something that can be summarized as beautiful," he said as he unconsciously fell into a trance, murmuring like he had lost his soul, suffering from Wenqing's disease, red lips on the outside, bright teeth on the inside, bright eyes, but before he could finish speaking, he was abruptly interrupted by impatient coquettishness from the side. "You can shut up, why is eating noodles so noisy?" The fashionable and bright female white-collar worker gave him a fierce glance, and elegantly stood up after applying some lipstick that had been rubbed off on the seat. "Aunt Luo, I'm leaving now. Please say a word to Xiaoxing for me, I need to fill out this high school application well." Guests who had once gambled on Xingchen's true face also withdrew their gaze and immersed themselves in memories, facing their bowls. A few relatively calm regulars around had already taken this situation for granted, and they rationally did not want to explain it further. Most of the people who visit here are regulars living nearby, silently swallowing every word and phrase about the appearance of the boss's daughter, because even those with a little bit of brain know what kind of terrible commotion it will cause if said. The new customers who have only been here a few times feel inexplicable and suspect that their mental state has been affected. Beauty. How beautiful can it be? Just a pair of skin bags, is it worth them thinking about day and night? Do they think of reporting to the noodle shop every day? I'm afraid I haven't seen my little sister on the Blue Star internet. Each one competes for its own beauty, and its graceful demeanor is diverse, surrounded by fat and slender swallows. Ah Zhen. After cleaning the table with a clean cloth, Chen Fong broke the stiff and awkward atmosphere. As she passed by, she lightly patted the male student's shoulder and said gently, "Our little star doesn't have that kind of mindset at the moment. Even if we do, as a mother, I won't allow it." Feeling the pressure of the orange-silver step beast master from his shoulder, he couldn't help but moisten his dry throat. The most daring hidden boss is the boss lady. Although he also belonged to the naturally gifted copper class in his age group, in front of Chen Fong, who had reached a higher level, just a few back and forth exchanges made water droplets seep out of his forehead and his heart rhythm gradually became chaotic. On the other hand, Luo Fong didn't even frown. That's right. Power difference suppression is so terrifying. Each beast tamer is promoted along the way according to the 5 great realms of copper, silver, gold, diamond, and pearl, from low to high. In this agony, they also have to endure the 6 small realms between each great realm. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. This is the rule of the Beast Master Circle, where the strong are respected and the weak eat the strong. Professions do not distinguish between high and low, strength represents everything. Luo Fong just pointed until the end. Not bad talent. She lowered her eyebrows and eyes. Listen to my advice, young people don't just have emotions and love in their minds. Spend time and energy on important things. If time passes, you will thank Aunt Luo. At this moment, Xingchen was in the backyard vegetable garden with his neighbor's child, humming a tune and pounding dry and pickled goods with his hands. After finishing the middle school entrance examination, she was very idle, and her parents also let her mess around. She originally suggested going to the store to help, but after realizing the killing power of her daughter's beauty, the two couples did not let her go out at will. It's not that I'm afraid my daughter will cause them trouble, but rather that I'm worried about being coveted by someone with a heart. Corrected, it's not just about attractiveness to humans. According to the couple's recent observations, not only people who can walk on 4 legs, but also mythical beasts that climb on land and fly in the sky seem to be affected by varying degrees of depth. Is the beauty of the daughter a result of human and mythical beasts killing each other? This situation is also strange, even though their impression of their daughter is still in the stage of being obedient, quiet, smart, and worry-free. How Xingchen, who had a congenital heart problem, has always been self-taught at home due to health reasons. In other words, under the watchful eyes of Shen's parents, he grew up meticulously, to the point where even slightly longer hair would be pointed out by Ms. Luo. Unable to remember which day it was, Xingchen, who had finished the online follow-up course in the afternoon, went to the noodle shop as usual to share the busy work of peak dining. After changing into her uniform and apron, she took over the task of serving dishes and ordering, but when she stepped into the dining area Shen Baisu gently flicked open the curtain connecting the kitchen and crossed the threshold with her head slightly lowered. As soon as the beauty stood still, she looked up and saw her delicate bangs sliding over the unpainted lotus face, adorned with 2 clear spring-like clear autumn pupils blinking and twitching, stirring the souls of everyone present. At a glance, the beauty stunned thousands of years, but also delayed many young children and regretted several old heroes. It's not an exaggeration, the originally lively and noisy environment was instantly vacuumed into a quiet and audible atmosphere, filled with intense emotions of amazement, surprise, and desire. The only thing in sync was the guests' accelerating and chaotic emotions, followed by the enthusiasm of the masses, rushing toward Xingchen like a crazy tsunami. At this moment, the parents of the Shen family realized the change in their daughter. Although it has the same facial features and charm, it seems like a finely crafted high-end version, with a different shy and introverted temperament from before, adding a sense of agility and affinity. How can we secretly evolve while they're not paying attention? Is it because as I get older, my eyes and head gradually become difficult to use? Or is it the legendary 18 transformations of the female major? Fortunately, a few months ago when Shen Fu was on a mission in the D-level Phantom Beast Forest, he accidentally caught a phantom jelly. Although the process was so smooth that it was somewhat suspicious, almost automatically jumping into Shen's father's backpack and being brought back, fortunately it ultimately solved the urgent situation. Because although this type of mythical creature, Phantom Jelly, does not have many outstanding attack skills, its abilities in disguising and confusing vision are very useful. Now the illusion facial mask he turned into is just on Xingchen's face. Although it can only make slight adjustments to its true appearance and is ineffective against evil and combat-type mythical beasts, it is sufficient for daily outings. Phantom Jelly. A superpower-type phantom beast that resembles both liquid jelly and slime, often making it difficult for people to distinguish between hands and feet, and leaving shallow paint marks wherever it passes. Ow! At this time, the neighbor's pet, corgi puppy, was staying beside the two people. With a short, squat body, he made a defensive attack towards the outside of the fence in the yard, and uttered a loud, angry growl. "Sister Xing, look, he's here again." 3-year-old Xiao Bubu grabbed Xingchen's pants with his left hand and pointed to two sneaky figures outside the vegetable garden fence with his right hand, also carrying a phantom beast. Starting from the day before yesterday, that strange uncle wearing a white suit would come to find his sister with a beautiful gift box. Once, he was carrying a basket of strangely shaped fruits. Although my sister said she didn't want it anymore, the uncle still came to report with a gift and a smile on his face. If his sister refuses him, she will turn red in the face and neck. So angry and sad. Shouldn't he's pursuing Sister Star? Xiao Bubu felt that he had revealed the truth, and that's how the dean's grandmother portrays what she sees on the tablet every night at 8 o'clock. He thought of being struck by lightning deep down, and his two runny noses grew longer. Don't promise him. He's so ugly. Wei Tang, a professional beast tamer with exceptional ear power, said, "I really appreciate it." Originally, Xingchen was prepared to pretend to be deaf and mute, as if nothing had happened, and continue to be busy with his work. Just as she had taken off the dried cured meat that had been air-dried for a week, she heard Xiao Bubu exclaim in surprise, causing her to stumble and almost be covered in the delicious cured meat. She silently took out the smallest piece from a pile of cured meat and whispered to the boy. "Could you please give this to Aunt Luo, Bubu?" Xiao Bubu doesn't want to leave now, but he doesn't want Sister Xing to think he's a bad kid. So he had to clench his chubby little furry claws and say, as if instructing a task, "Pang Pang's sister will be entrusted to you for protection." Ow! Watching little Bubu run away carrying the cured meat like a kite, Xingchen picked up Pang Pang, who was preparing to charge fiercely, and helplessly walked towards these two troublesome pieces. "I won't join the Imperial Beast School team, nor do I want to be any Imperial Beast Master." End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Crossing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Crossing. Wei Tang's lobbying speech, which had been revised 9 times, was choked up in his throat. "Hey! You little girl!" Upon hearing his invitation being rejected without thinking, Wei Tang's face was excited, but in fact, his heart couldn't stir much compared to a few days ago, and he was really numb by the rejection. He was scratching his ears and cheeks in confusion. Almost 99.9% of Blue Star High School students, during this period of Mu Chang's passion, have some illusions about the high-threshold profession of Beast Master, which is both natural and lucky, and cannot be achieved without hard work. Is she the rare group that is said to suffer from 1% of monster phobia? This is not possible. It's hard to find a high school student with a special physique and a high probability of being a universal body. If you give up persuasion, it's like selling the contract quota that only happens 3 times a year at a low price online. Wei Tang discovered Xingchen, this great treasure, a week ago in the evening. At that time, he went to the suburbs of Leisure City to conduct a site survey for a newly built training ground. After 3 nights, he didn't sleep well in the hotel. He wore a set of velvet pajamas, stepped on a pair of foot clippers, and led the crescent-toothed dog running happily in front of him out to bask in the moon. Who knew, the crescent-toothed dog, which was originally moving forward at a constant speed, suddenly made a sharp turn and pressed the clutch all the way, sprinting towards the passing girl for 800 meters, then braking with its face and obediently whimpering in front of Xingchen. The short furry little tail spun like a motor, revealing a completely different kind of cute and obedient appearance from home. This is not right. As the head coach of a high school team in Leisure City, it is impossible to be foolish enough to think that the behavior of the crescent-yi dog is a normal phenomenon. If it is an ordinary pet dog, there is nothing to say, but the crescent ye dog is a phantom beast. A phantom beast of animal species. Phantom beasts have a natural fondness for contract holders, while non-contract holders and even their relatives find it difficult to get close to them. This is a law that has remained unchanged like steel for 100 years. So why a vague guess flashed by at that moment? It seems that a similar event occurred 50 years ago in Yukoku. At the rookie stage in his 20s, this person surprisingly caused the enemy phantom beasts to hesitate for up to 5 minutes in attack. At first, everyone thought it was just a coincidence, so they didn't take it to heart. However, as the number of times went on, he won more and more consecutive championships, gradually making this inconspicuous foul buff come to light. After undergoing numerous tests by the Research Institute, the results have caused a sensation throughout the entire Blue Star. A new special physique, All Spiritual Body, has been discovered, and the 50 special physiques recorded on the Central Blue Star network have added the 51st. Wei Tang rationally denied his speculation, but what if? He quickly found Xingchen's name on the high school entrance examination list, ranking in the top 5% of the city. Isn't this enough to cross the threshold of the first-tier high school entrance examination in Lisha? God help me too. We have gathered all the favorable timing and location, and only need Xingchen's precise words. Thinking of the recent revelation of 2 special physique talents in the virtual snail team of Lisha Second High School, it made him angry. Before going to bed, he had to receive a complete set of bone massage from the Golden Gorilla to fall asleep peacefully. That's why he, who holds important positions, hung up several phone calls urging him to go back and is still practicing Tai Chi with Xingchen in the suburbs of Lisha. Cough. Don't rush to refuse yet. Wei Tang calmed down and put on a smiling face again, patting the phantom beast beside him who stared at Xingchen without blinking. Hurry up. Gold Monkey King, use a whirlwind jab on the stone ahead. Wei Tang's original intention was to make Xingchen be impressed by the extraordinary power of the phantom beast surpassing humans, but who knew they didn't want to follow the routine. The Golden Ape King is reluctant to give a single glance to the indenter and uses his own skill. The gimmick cross slash, the palm turned into a sharp blade and swiftly slashed at a stone half a person tall, constantly jumping and changing its position. The speed was so fast that almost a shadow appeared, and the palm wind mixed with the splashing gravel and flying dust. Bang! Finally, end with a heavy blow to the stones. The Gold Monkey King stopped for a fierce output, bent down and picked up a rock-like object from the ground, and approached Xingchen. Gold mine. Here you are. His hands were completely spread out, and a finely crafted stone rose bloomed under everyone's noses. Wei Tang. Is it burned like this? Well, that's about it. Wei Tang decided to descend the donkey along the slope. How about this? This is the powerful power and skill that the phantom beasts have demonstrated after training. Phantom beasts are extraordinary and mysterious creatures that exist in various forms. According to their appearance and race, they can be roughly divided into animal species, plant species, fantasy species, and mythological species. Taking the animal species phantom beasts floating cross-legged next to Wei Tang as an example. The king of the golden ape. He has normal proportions of limbs like humans. Because he had been complained about several times, Wei Tang had to wrap his entire body in thick, pitch-black leather material, so outsiders couldn't see any real appearance. I only know that if it weren't for the shimmering golden light on the skin of the neck and face atrium, as well as the ability to float in the air, I would have thought he was an adult male at 1.8 meters tall. Since the emergence of the phantom beast, on the Blue Star, humans have been following closely to find a way to coexist harmoniously with it and help each other. The Phantom Beast Contract. After hundreds of years of cultivation and the mastery and popularization of contract technology, almost everyone's main job is closely related to the type of phantom beast they contract with, and the beast master is a profession that works closely with phantom beasts and becomes stronger through competition and competition. From beginning to end, it has always been a popular pursuit, and those well-known animal trainers have a huge fan base, forming an alternative fan culture. Wei Tang's doubts are very reasonable, but unfortunately they cannot be resolved because Xingchen is not a native Blue Star indigenous person. She probably entered this world about a month ago. Before crossing over, Xingchen was a nurse who pursued employment with the great aspiration of dedicating himself and saving lives. He also chose to work in neurosurgery with a small ambition of receiving 3 times more bonuses than others. It is said that under heavy rewards, there must be brave men, and she is the reckless man who strives to retire and return to her hometown in the countryside before the age of 40 in order to win enough money as soon as possible. How wonderful it is to go back to my hometown. Just thinking about it makes people full of energy. In addition to accompanying my elderly grandmother, I grow various crops and flowers, expand my business and have a farmhouse, while also raising 2 dogs and 2 cats. Such a carefree and comfortable future life is the only motivation that supports her to clock in on time and work overtime every day. Who knew that at the age of 25, she had not yet fully experienced her entire life? She had been on duty for 6 consecutive days and nights, ignoring the advice of others and the exhaustion warning of her brain. He died suddenly. Life quickly fades away, leaving no room for buffering or digestion. To say regret, her intestines are turning blue with regret. The unfinished home renovation design, layout and composition of the vegetable and orchard, and a long list of pets in the tablet, as well as retirement plans after the age of 40, remain unchanged. But when it comes to saving lives and helping the injured, when asked from the bottom of her heart, she has no resentment. But if she could make a new choice, she would like to devote all her energy to herself and her family, to be an ordinary person who is happy and willing to make money, and to go with the flow. Instead of having a close encounter with an old keyboard that had not been cleaned for 3 years in the last second before death, it also made an untouched medical record the only witness to his death. Fortunately, fate gave her the opportunity to start over again when she opened her eyes again. Her soul entered the body of a 14-year-old girl who died frequently in the Blue Star country, also known as Xingchen. Due to her congenital heart development disability and weak physique, she was forced to self-study at home. Fortunately, little sister Xingchen from Blue Star is also intelligent and eager to learn. She never slacked off on her studies due to the lack of supervision from her teacher. Instead, she consistently scores well on her annual return-to-school exams. Unfortunately, fate played tricks on her. She wanted to stay up late and compete for a PhD 3 days before the high school entrance exam, but her heart suddenly stopped and left due to an overwhelming load. In an instant the soul of Xingchen in the 21st century unexpectedly intervened at this time. I want to go to school, make friends, and then spend time with my parents for me. This was the first sentence she heard inside this body, broken and out of tune like a broken violin, yet delicate and cute. She guessed that it was undoubtedly the child Xingchen. Okay, don't worry, I'll finish it for you. At the moment when Xingchen finished speaking, her new body suddenly became much lighter. The memories of more than a decade of Huagua Xingchen flooded into her mind, and she struggled to open her eyes. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Card Pool Panel. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 4. Available quota. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Available quota. A week later, the outdoor dome stadium. Xingchen lived up to expectations and was admitted to Leisure No. 1 high school. The campus life he had always dreamed of was also a wedge of success. She immediately informed Wei Tang of the good news, and now she didn't even need to do the pre-selection review documents. Wei Tang directly helped her send them with just one click. Congratulations, applicant Xingchen. You have successfully passed the first stage of the review. Special recruitment for the second and third stages of the testing. 3, July 30th, location. Outdoor Dome Sports Stadium. Please arrive at the testing site on time and do not wait for any delays. Looking at the notice message on the mobile phone, Xingchen put a magic facial mask made of magic jelly on his face and went out with the beast bracelet that his mother hurriedly gave her this morning. On the way to the destination, I unexpectedly discovered the hidden settings of this object, which can remotely control the panel hanging in mid-air. Can I take a drop? It won't be like a watch produced by Xigua Company in the past, which can detect body values such as blood pressure and heartbeat, right? She tentatively turned the bracelet. Didi, new Phantom Beast. Phantom Jelly has entered the bracelet, scanning. Scanning completed. Fantasy Jelly. Superpower type Fantasy Beast, with a certain probability of appearing in the C and D level beast forest. Favorite to get stuck in uneven crevices or smooth grooves. Will change the color of the body surface paint according to mood. The small holes on the bracelet project a small square electronic screen, and a clear live window is opened next to the introduction information to record every move of the Phantom Beast. The fantasy water droplets playing on it were humming happily, jumping excitedly as if discovering a new continent. For a while, even the rice bowl in Xingchen's backpack briefly fell out of favor. Very normal, anyone living on a blue star must have a Beast Guard bracelet, which can adjust the living environment in a timely manner to the most suitable residence for the Phantom Beast, and is also a medium for contracting the Phantom Beast. As she expected, this bracelet is a treasure. The selection of school teams in Leisure City is divided into 3 stages. The first stage is the written review of the middle school entrance examination, the second stage is the numerical detection of brainwave frequency, and the last stage is the special brainwave detection, also known as the legendary special physical fitness test. According to the review and screening process outlined in the selection brochure, you need to upload the proof of admission to Leisure No. 1 High School and the basic information of the applicants before the selection day. It is not enough to just pass the high threshold in Leisure City. 70% of the people must be preliminarily screened and eliminated, and the remaining top 30% will successfully enter the second stage. At this time, the person must arrive on the same day according to the selected day ladder and complete the remaining 2 stages of testing. Over the years, almost 95% of students have decided whether to get a spot on the school team in the second stage. As for the third stage, it is mostly just a casual walk, taking no more than 30 minutes from beginning to end. In the waiting line of Xingchen, a group of girls screamed with longing. Ah ah ah. He's the white walk of an extraordinary team, and his steamed fox. He's really handsome. Look at the attacking hand Nanji. It's truly my responsibility, even nervousness is so cute. A man next to him muttered softly. Didn't you say you wanted to choose the White Camellia squad? Sigh. As expected, women are all fickle. A group of girls. You shut up. The boy next to Xingchen and the girl in front have the same starry eyes. I want to choose the Sha Su team. I heard that Sha Su spends almost half of his time training in the forest of Phantom Beasts. Wow. It sounds super exciting. His friend also looked conflicted. The Zhongying team is also good, let me take a look. He carefully read the information above the scrolling screen and muttered to himself, Zhongying team members have free Elfstone shares every month, and the Ninghu team has once produced national players. Oh my. It's so difficult to choose. If you choose to have some hair to use, others may not even be interested in you. Haha. Dreams are the most beautiful. Follow everyone's gaze and look up into the sky. The 24K high-definition screen showcases exciting clips of the fierce battles among the mythical beasts. A circular projection screen hanging in the center of the sports stadium scrolls, playing every 10 seconds the ranking of the top teams on the campus from the previous quarter, as well as footage of player matches on various individual rankings. Not only that, the editors are quite skilled, adding annotations next to each classic move to prevent freshmen from getting dizzy. As the team battle scenes of the top 1.10 teams on the points table end, the personal direct shot of the captain of the Fulling team, who came to the second place on the gold chart. At the same time, a burst of roars and cheers erupted around in an instant. My mom. It's my mom. Woo-woo. I worked hard to get into Lee High School just for this moment. It's not in vain for me to uninstall the XX Alliance before the middle school entrance exam and study exercises every day. For my mother's sake. I bet all my wealth will be selected as Poria Cocos. Shouting. 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 The overlapping sounds almost shatter the eardrums. Some of the fanatical fans present had a crazy expression, holding their hands high and shouting slogans with a level of tacit understanding comparable to the support of a certain national idol that Xingchen had seen in his past life. Is this a world dominated by animal racing? The shock level that martial arts movies bring into reality is comparable. The female characters in the scene seem to be meticulously designed one after another, seamlessly connected without any trace. After the Phantom Beast falls into a desperate situation, it makes independent adjustments through observation and then counterattacks. It's like watching a performance, which is both scary and exciting, let alone just editing. Excuse me. Is this where I report? Like the first sip of chilled grape juice after steaming a sauna, a clear and sweet sound reached the ears of two high school volunteers at the reporting office. For those who had already dealt with many arrogant young children before, their anger was rising, and they were no less than taking a sip of Mrs. Xingchen oral liquid. They suddenly looked up, eager to see who the voice's owner was, but they wanted to disappoint them. The petite figure that caught the eye was wearing a hat, a mask, and a three-piece set of sunglasses, with no apparent appearance. But Xingchen is not a gimmick either. His physical condition does not allow him to be exposed to the scorching sun for a long time. The emotions of the volunteer in the second year of high school noticeably subsided. This student, we need you to remove the cover on your face so that our staff can verify your real name. Ah. I'm sorry. As she spoke, she calmly took off the equipment that covered her face from the scorching sun, until the moment she took off her sun hat, her head slowly drooped like a waterfall of green silk. Xingchen raised his hand and gently flicked a strand of hair that blocked her sight behind his ear, then fixed his gaze on the two of them. My name is Xingchen. 5 seconds after she finished speaking, the first two volunteers couldn't come to their senses for a long time. Not only that, within a few meters, there were many onlookers wandering around, as well as students waiting to report, all silently speaking in unison at this moment. The two closest high school sophomore volunteers suddenly tightened their pupils and exchanged thought-provoking glances without realizing it. The delicate face lacked a hint of blood color. It should have given off the delicate and lovable temperament of Sister Lin, but those indifferent eyes deviated from the usual path, calm like an unstoppable river. A word suddenly popped up in the minds of everyone present: the contrast is cute. Finally, a student from the Huning team spoke up first. If you want to choose the Huning team after the second stage selection. Our team's coach is an attacker from the Bo High Club. But before the male high school student could reveal all the benefits of his high school years, he was quickly covered by the surrounding voices rushing to make a name for himself. Come to the Sha Su team. Wake up 2 special physique gods in our team, and ensure to lie down, win, and fly throughout the journey. Hey, don't push me. Junior girls, come to the Fulling battle team. We girls understand girls the most, and there is a group of excellent senior sisters who can help you grow hand in hand. In a chaotic brawl and shoving, with crutches and stumbling, even some phantom beasts ran out of the bracelet to assist their owner. This led to a series of animals and plants showing teeth hanging on her calves after a moment. Alright, everyone. This is an outdoor sports stadium exposed to 38 degrees Celsius, with the sun hanging high and sweat streaming profusely. Can't we give each other a sense of boundaries? Xingchen silently put on his sunglasses and completely became Buddhist. Quietly squeezing out crowds of people with sudden illnesses and phantom beasts. I should have confirmed it, right? May I ask if it's okay to leave now? Oh no. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. As if sensing Xingchen's displeasure, the two teenagers stopped at the same time, showing appropriate smiles. The one who handed the data, the one who typed the keyboard, and the girl in front of them casually said, "Classmate. If we pass the second stage, will we consider the Great Wall team?" Xingchen nodded without hesitation and with a slightly perfunctory tone. "Let's talk more. Everyone. Not with a sneak run. A group of phantom beasts." On her way to the testing station, she unexpectedly heard a stiff and familiar electric consonant. Soil dust +9, wood dust +8, animal dust +3, plant dust +5, and added favorability star dust +54. He asked the phantom water drop in the bracelet, which was spreading his belly in the sun, "Isn't the illusion facial mask able to adjust my original facial features?" "What happened just now?" "Fantasy, then I'll make some adjustments again." Speaking, according to the plant species that happened to pass by, Yubeast, Hua, he drew a new gourd and pinched Xingchen's facial features according to the same pattern. "Thank you." She completely let go of her worries and walked naturally with her head up and chest straight. So tonight, this black-framed sunglasses, with a strange and seductive smile on her crooked mouth, quietly made her rank 10th on the discussion hot topic list. The title is "I Can Bear It." Have you ever seen a new student who feels so itchy? The popularity of the Ibali City Igao forum was lightly brushed off by her. When she arrived at the testing station, she unexpectedly found that this place was several times colder than the reporting area outside the sports stadium. However, when she glanced at the countless instruments and several groups of scientific researchers wearing laboratory robes behind her, her doubts disappeared without a trace. 250, next, 280, okay, next, 380, keep this for the next stage of testing. There is no intention of offending, but Xingchen really wants to ask, why does the testing sound so serious? There is a feeling of being close to the supermarket, and the clerk starts cutting and sticking half-price stickers. Next. She walked forward and handed out the waiting sign and ID card at the reporting office. The researchers glanced at the sunglasses on her face at most and didn't say anything. Quickly tested the blood and gestured for her to sit above the medical chair next to her. The other researcher didn't procrastinate and started after putting on the testing equipment for her. The frequency of brain fluctuations is 400. The researcher's indifferent face finally showed a slight wave, and he raised his eyebrows imperceptibly. In his opinion, this value is considered good among a group of high school students. Glancing at the royal beast bracelet that emitted a faint red copper luster. "I am amazed to see that I have been promoted to the next level. This year, the new students have good qualifications and have been tested by countless individuals until now. They have reached the red copper class without a teacher currently, there are only a dozen or so. In fact, it is understandable that Blue Star values this value. The only thing that can distinguish the upper limit of a beast tamer's ability is the so-called brain wave frequency. Exceeding 350 is equivalent to the minimum threshold for entering the beast tamer's circle. For the red copper scale, it is approximately between 350 and 450 values. The number of contracted phantom beasts varies from person to person, ranging from 1 to 2. The principle of the contract between humans and mythical beasts is the concept of same frequency attraction. The higher the frequency of brain fluctuations and the wider the inclusiveness, the more mythical beasts can be contracted. In order to save time, the mature beast tamer in the end saved the effort of running thousands of miles to measure and directly evaluated the opponent's strength by looking at the color of the bracelet. If the frequency of brain fluctuations is not high enough, that is, the level displayed on the bracelet color is too low, and you want to forcefully contract an excessive amount of phantom beasts, it is highly likely to damage the central nervous system of the brain, causing dementia or cerebral palsy. Therefore, various public entrances to the forest of phantom beasts, as well as private and legitimate phantom beast incubation gardens, must show the color of the royal beast bracelet when customers want to buy, sell or contract. Although the researchers next to them were whispering and discussing, they were still meticulous in their respective responsibilities and operations. Input data, replace instrument, reset code, and change program settings. Xingchen lay above the medical chair, with most of his ears filled with the sound of keyboard tapping. Next test. The brainwave pattern test program has been reset. D. The researchers drew a cross on top of the tablet. D. Drew another cross. D. Draw a line. When the 50th beep is over and the researchers responsible for recording are ready to write. The instrument suddenly fell silent. The researcher in charge of data interpretation frowned enough to catch a fly, flipping his fingers and typing rapidly on the keyboard. He watched as the processing library of the instrument kept rechecking and running. After repeating it 10 times, he collapsed on the swivel chair as if completing some rescue operation, showing a smile of relief from the burden. Has it been done? Has it been done? The colleagues gathered around him swallowed their saliva and asked cautiously. In the past, there have been cases of instrument misjudgment. This feeling of frustration after obtaining treasures and losing them made them have to be cautious, because their special physique is really rare, accounting for only 1/1000th of the group of animal masters. And everyone is a talented person who wins at the starting point. Well, it's very certain that there is a Wanling constitution in leisure. After receiving a positive response from the researcher, they all turned their heads in unison, their eyes like a group of cats hunting mice in the dark night. Xingchen. One of them was relatively calm, using a tablet in her hand to transfer a school team-related introduction file to her phone. This is an introduction to all the teams in the school team alliance. You should evaluate your strengths and weaknesses carefully and choose the one that best suits you. Remember to perform well in the final distribution of the Beast Forest 3 days later. Little did they know that at the moment when Xingchen left, all the old professors who were accustomed to holding their dignity and wearing white coats stopped pretending, and everyone fell into an excited and adrenaline-filled atmosphere. They were full of enthusiasm and began to get busy. Some called to inform their superiors of the research institute, some began to establish new observation files, some discussed where to have a drink after work, and the atmosphere was harmonious, without any signs of the previous lethargy. There's no way, who can call a universal body not in China. Yugua is also a group of stingy and vague individuals, releasing very few and one-sided information. If it weren't for fear of causing anger among many countries on Blue Star, Yugua might not have leaked even a little information. On the way home, the panel popped up, and a red exclamation mark appeared on the letter icon in the upper right corner. She used her wristband to click to open it. The Constitution of Wanling has been made public. User Xingchen, suggested to change to a hidden name to ensure personal security, has automatically entered the joint panel community. 5 kilometers, invitation to make friends has been sent. 3 kilometers, 1 day, friend invitation sent, a gift letter, click to open. Xingchen. Who? Click to open it, and a golden rose rain suddenly falls on the panel. At the same time, a prompt pops up on the panel, Golden Rose Rain +1, Fantasy. Huan Jelly was very happy. He found that the color of Xingchen was exactly the same as that of his new friend Gold Mine Ape King. In his excitement, the remotely controlled illusion facial mask also had a slight golden color. Xingchen with a yellow face. Cold, calm down. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Training. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Training. After returning home, it was surprisingly deserted. In the past, during this period, my parents had already finished their business at the alley noodle shop and returned home to rest. However, strangely enough, even the contracted pet responsible for keeping watch, the fountain turtle, was nowhere to be seen. Muddy inflammation mouse. Muddy ball mouse. Even the 2 Azai beasts from my mother didn't respond. Perhaps something has delayed. She sat quietly at the dining table in the living room, waiting as if sensing the owner's shallow anxiety. Fantasy Jelly stopped making a fuss and obediently acted as the kneading music in Xingchen's hand. Kala. Kala. The subtle sound of the clock's rotation seemed to amplify tens of thousands of times in the spacious and quiet house, regularly stirring the tense heartstring of Xingchen. After all, she couldn't bear the coldness and loneliness of the whole room. She turned on the TV and wanted to listen to some sound to relieve her fatigue. Boredly pressing the turntable button. Just right at the end of the news program in Leisure City. Thank you all for watching the Pair Market's hourly news. We will. Suddenly, the female anchor with a graceful smile stopped her closing line, raised her hand to hold onto her earphone, as if receiving a significant message, and her expression gradually became more serious after a few seconds. Instantly broadcast the latest news that there are wild mythical beasts appearing near Swan Gong Road in District A of Leisure City. According to eyewitnesses, the appearance is an animal species, and its attack level is roughly estimated to be a purple copper scale. Residents nearby must be accompanied by contracted mythical beasts when going out, but do not panic too much. The nearby security center has immediately sent people to arrest them, and we will hand over the scene to reporter Xingchen. The inexplicable sixth sense has come true. There has really been an accident. Although Swan Gong Road is 3 blocks away from Peeper Road where the noodle shop is located, Xingchen still couldn't help but think too much. This kind of emotion is unconsciously influenced. In addition to being influenced by the emotions and memories of the original owner, these days of interaction have made her fully appreciate the meticulous care that the Shen family and his wife have for their daughter. Naturally, she has placed herself in the role of Blue Star Xingchen, treating them as true family members from the bottom of her heart. I can't wait to call to confirm, but my phone rang instantly. She anxiously connected and didn't wait for the other side to make a sound before speaking up. Mom, is everything okay on your end? The news says. Luo Fong interrupted her and said, oh my. Are you talking about that wild beast? It's not a big deal. Let's pack up and go home. Thinking that my parents are at least silver-level beast guards, if anything really happens, their basic self-protection ability is also impressive. That's good. You and Fantasy Jelly keep an eye on the house, and don't forget to eat dinner. Do. She let out a long sigh, which was just then buzzing. Less than 3 seconds after hanging up the phone, the special vibration sound set by the phone came one after another, and it rang out quickly. The sender is a university in Leisure City. Welcome to join the Li Gao Gao family by the registration team of Li Shi Gao. The class information for the new semester is as follows: you have passed the 2nd and 3rd stages of testing, and the detailed testing report has been sent to your email. Please go to RF Beast Forest in the link next Monday, 8/3, to distribute the team of the School Team Alliance. Click the link to go to the detailed map. Click to view detailed information. Forest of Phantom Beasts, a living space for wild phantom beasts, is classified into SS to F levels based on their level of danger. It is the best choice for most human contracted phantom beasts, and is more sought after by the public compared to human established breeding grounds, because they believe that wild phantom beasts have more tenacious vitality and brave and skilled combat characteristics. The Forest of Phantom Beasts with R in front of each level is somewhat different, representing the Forest of Phantom Beasts built through artificial bionic technology. It is most commonly seen in top universities and training bases to exercise the combat coordination ability between students and phantom beasts. Compared to the pure wild phantom forest, it is also safe and controllable. She clicked on the second text message to start reading. Utilizing the 12% concentration and reading comprehension skills of my previous life working in a hospital, I automatically convert obscure proprietary terms into easily understandable vernacular language in my mind. Those who do not have phantom beasts can take this opportunity to make their first contract at SF Phantom Beast Forest for free. For students who already have phantom beasts, the difficulty of the evaluation will increase as appropriate, and correspondingly, the score multiplier of the evaluation items will also increase. At the age of 15 or 16, which is a period of youth and enlightenment, young girls have been excited and unable to touch the north for a long time when they see this place. The phantom beasts I contracted during high school come from the forest of phantoms. Speaking it out is enough to make people envious. In fact, this all stems from the unanimous acceptance of helplessness by the people of Blue Star. The vast majority of pet owners who contract their first pet during the beginner period come from private breeding farms. Because it is simple, fast, and has a low threshold, they only need to pay for it, and add a test sheet or a red copper gloss or hire pet bracelet. The forest of phantom beasts is different again. The lowest level of danger, F level, also requires explorers to reach the bronze class. Although it is possible to bring back wild beasts through the hands of parents like Xingchen's father, and then let the child contract. But the phantom beast is interested in parents, not children. It was only when they followed home happily that they realized they had been scammed. Not to mention being a pet beast, everyone was going to explode. On that day, SF Beast Forest will set up different levels, each corresponding to a different team. Due to time constraints, students are advised to prioritize challenging their desired team level. Come on. Is it gone? Xingchen hesitated and foolishly slid the screen up and down. In the first few minutes, I could still read patiently, but halfway through, I gradually realized something was wrong, and by the time I finished reading the last page, I was almost spewing out a mouthful of old blood. What did you take the exam for? How to take the exam? And the admission criteria for each team were not mentioned at all. Xingchen used his fiery eyes to see the connections of Li Shurigao. The so-called final distribution of the school team was to have the students transform into a certain character, bring a talking map and a monkey named Boots, and embark on a jungle adventure. Xingchen. In a fit of anger, he sent Wei Tang 2 facial expression packs made by Yenny Panda. But complaining too much now is of no use, considering that there are still 3 days to go until the team's distribution day. According to the brochure, the difficulty of evaluating a contracted phantom beast will increase for the scholarship. The only thing she can do now is training. Training. Step up your training. With 2 flames burning brightly in her eyes, she felt the familiar momentum of her past life return. With high spirits, she quickly clicked on the touch keyboard, her fingers fluttering like sparks, and opened several browser pages, searching for several related information. The most suitable training method for Fantasy Jelly. The search results first appear on the page, and a forum with a built-in Spitfire effect called C.Level Superpower Adventurer is topped with the first entry on the web interface. Capturing the 4 keywords of Fantasy Jelly, I clicked on it to take a look, and the almost unexploded text flashed my eyes. The top trending post, on the love and murder between me and the fantasy family, is rapidly scrolling through the comments section at a rate of 3 seconds per message. My training routine with Fantasy Weasel, picture. Who comes quickly to break the ban upstairs? Let us, this group of guys, beat up lemons every day. I'm sore. Who wasn't the man who was rejected by the fantasy girl by the lake and river back then? It's sour. The fantasy weasel is so cute. Its soft and fluffy paws. Who is available next Saturday? The Dawn Squadron is short of a silver-level beast master, with unlimited variety of phantom beasts. Skill requirements. Water Prison, Coordinates. C.Level Phantom Beast Forest in Lian District, Dawn City, with a salary of 1,500. Interested parties are private. Wow, this is the 5th year. It seems like the 256th failed arrest. Come on, Brothers of Dawn. Keep an eye on you guys. If it goes up to 1,500 gold, there won't be anyone left. You can give me the money if there's nowhere to spend it. I want to say something, don't struggle with the brothers above. The fantasy family is famous for their love at first sight physique, and those who don't like it always don't. You waste your time and money properly. Agree upstairs, it's not that I want to spray dawn on these guys. Their efforts over the past few years are worthy of respect, but being too headstrong is just mindless and inflexible. Let's not talk about it, let's share a picture of the magical illusion first. Picture. Where's my 80-meter sword? Every stinky Versailles dog head in the comments section with a bounty. Seeing that the entire post was filled with nothing but a flurry of jokes and advertisements for purchasing courses with course funds, she decisively clicked on the cross and opened another page searching for the road to training superpowers in Phantom Beasts. Got it. That's it, with over 10 million views and countless recommended practical products by netizens. First of all, animal trainers who choose superpower-type Phantom Beasts as their main cultivation targets should pay attention. Given their high coldness and arrogant temperament, their obedience is generally low. So, it is necessary to identify the factors that induce them to cooperate with training obediently arrogant and indifferent proud. Low compliance. She silently searched for the fantasy jelly, only to realize that it was a bit quiet and abnormal so far. As the saying goes, if a child is quiet, they must be acting like a demon. Shouldn't it be? Fantasy Jelly had a sudden epiphany and felt that the porcelain bowl in his hand wasn't fragrant, so he used his stealth skills to run to the museum and swallow a blue and white porcelain, right? Just thinking about it made Xingchen feel a wave of fear, and he began calling out to the children who had run out to do wild things. Jelly. Fruit. Just as she was about to turn the Phantom Beast bracelet and forcefully recall him, an unusual movement came from the mug next to her. Fantasy. The dreamy jelly I was searching for in my heart, drank up the latte in my mug, turned light brown all over, and played foolishly imitating the swirling coffee. What new look is this? What Xingchen said online about the personality of superpower-type Phantom Beasts still needs to be investigated. She took a deep breath from her chest and pinched Shenzhen to continue climbing. When they start cooperating with the training, please confirm the training direction of the beast tamer. Superpowers can also be classified as types that are good at strong attacks, good at defense, or good at assisting. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Refusal of Fantasy Jelly. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Refusal of Fantasy Jelly. There are also types of superpowers that are good at strong attacks, good at defense, or good at assisting. Below the text are 3 competition record videos, corresponding to the cultivation direction mentioned above. She spent a whole 3 hours reading it, and her mind began to ponder. The first training route of strong attack was eliminated first, based on my understanding of Jelly during this period. His neither combative nor soft and delicate temperament is not suitable for being a brave warrior on the team's front line. It is even more unrealistic for him to use his perseverance and unyielding blood to forge a smooth path in the game. The second approach is barely feasible. Strengthening his existing, hardening, and wandering skills makes it easier for the Beast Master to cultivate them, and it is also easier for the Phantom Beasts to gain a sense of achievement. But when I think of the painful physique that makes me cry when I pinch Jelly, and the 3-minute hot acting style. Can he play the role of a meat shield in team battles? No, the picture is too beautiful to imagine. So if you consider defense skills as the main strengthening target, skip it first. There is only one left, an auxiliary role in team warfare that requires strong adaptability in the ability to launch, poison, ambush, confuse, stare, intimidate, and so on at the appropriate time. It is a non-attack-oriented magic skill. The mental requirements are not high, but one should have a quick and agile thinking ability. Adding the Phantom Mask in the existing skills of Phantom Jelly is a good starting point for development. The more she thought about it, the more she felt it was suitable. This third cultivation path is simply tailored for the Fantasy Jelly. Immediately tap the mug and call out for the Fantasy Jelly. Fantasy. Jelly's little hand leaned out from the rim of the cup. I found your training method. Look at this. She clicked on the third video and cut the small window to full screen, giving the jelly a better viewing experience. The film is a direct shot of the 6 vs 6 team battle of the Fallen Autumn team. According to the title, 3 years ago, in the College Spring Cup, the qualifying stage from the round of 16 to the round of 8. She pulled the progress bar to the first 10 seconds of the exciting moment and started playing. It is evident from the screen that the team where the Eclipse Spider is located is in a disadvantaged position. The 3 Phantom Beasts in our team have lost their combat ability. If we don't count ourselves, there is only 1 main skill hitter and 1 weak defensive Phantom Beast left on the field, while there are also 3 weak defensive Phantom Beasts and 1 Assault Man on the opposite side. Each fan in the audience wearing support uniforms had an ugly expression, watching the mocking faces and continuous moans of enemy fans. If it weren't for the situation, they would have summoned the Phantom Beast and the opponent to fight desperately. On the other hand, the owner of the Lunar Eclipse Spider was completely indifferent, with no signs of panic on his face. He calmly observed the situation on site and issued instructions. The attacker locks on the enemy's thorny wild boar, while the defender conservatively outputs. The Lunar Eclipse Spider continues to unleash its silk. Yes, I'll do it. 2 team members followed orders and quickly gave orders to their own Phantom Beasts. The Unicorn Soldier Whale wraps a water tornado around its unicorn and makes a straight charge at the thorny wild boar. Little Fruit Salamander, use water armor. Soldiers, fruit. A unicorn whale the size of a sailboat swung its tail abruptly, and the water vapor in the air turned into a substantial whirlpool. Without waiting for the complete combination of the 2 skills, the smooth whale body resembles a detached sword, and its momentum is thin and powerful, approaching the thorny wild boar in the grass system. The owner of the thorny wild boar across from him gave a growl. It seems that I'm not familiar with the attribute restraint table. Don't you know that grass system restrains water system? Thorn wild boar, use thorn vine whip. Yeah. The thorny wild boar immediately waved its thorny grass whip to fight. The commentator's passionate voice came from the phone. It seems that the captain of the Luoqiu team still chose the original tactics. It seems that the critical situation of the war has no effect on him at all, but who knows? Is it a reason to remain calm? Or is it really a big trick to prepare to reverse the situation? Let's continue back to the competition venue. Some viewers are unable to understand and even begin to curse and question the strength of the Luoqiu team, which is mixed with water. Because discerning people understand that spinning silk is the most basic skill of female spider-like mythical beasts, which can only slow down the movement of a limited number of enemy mythical beasts, and the attack damage caused is actually not much, a pure auxiliary skill. The Lunar Eclipse Spider is at least an evolved second-order form and a superpowered Phantom Beast. What is it like to command her to continuously use her spinning skill from the beginning of the competition? The pure operation of using a 1,000-mile horse as a donkey. He seized the opportunity for the enemy to relax and shouted, "Moon, use the reverse moon." Eclipse. The Eclipse Spider, who had a weak sense of presence from head to tail, finally moved. She stopped using her spinning skill and quickly folded her 8-legged legs and back armor, forming a spherical shape. Then, in front of everyone, she slowly hung in the air, rose, and then rose until she touched the ceiling of the battle arena. Then it stopped for a moment. A more bizarre scene unfolds. Almost in a moment, the bright battle hall turned dark and the room was out of sight. The towering scorched earth-colored giant, full moon, became the only visible object, but this full moon was not calm and beautiful, but instead brought a mysterious and unpredictable atmosphere to others. Xingchen gritted her chin, and no matter how many times she looked at this anti-moon skill, she exclaimed, against the sky. I just learned a little online that this skill is an exclusive skill for lunar eclipse spiders. It utilizes the instinct of plants to rely on moonlight at night and promote the growth of leaves, allowing grass-based mythical beasts to unintentionally fall into the trap of the false moon and absorb their energy in the opposite direction. And exclusive skills are usually not replicable by other mythical beasts, and the triggering mechanism is even more mysterious. The thought of one day, when Fantasy Jelly also has its own exclusive skills, she is even more excited to the point where flies rub their hands. Fortunately, before the children in the audience were frightened and crying, the hall regained its brightness. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is the Royal Beast Battle Hall. It's not a performance venue. Is it interesting to do so many gimmicks? The third-place winner of last year's Golden Cup is just that. Their fans can really praise it. Some people made 3 disguising giggles, some felt embarrassed and angry, while others were full of mockery. Little did they know that the gesture of holding the phantom beast tightly in their hands and the wandering gaze had already betrayed them. Suddenly, the little girl in the crowd noticed something was wrong and pointed her fat hand towards the field. "Mommy, pigs are not fat anymore." The 2 grass defense-type mythical beasts of the victory team on the field have long lost their combat ability, and the condition of the thorn wild boar is not much better. The plants on its body quickly wither, and even the thorn grass whip, which is full of dragons and tigers, hangs lifelessly on the ground. The wild boar's round and rolling body is now thin to the point of becoming a pork rib. All viewers. Wait. When did this happen? It only took a few minutes. Yeah. The skinny wild boar wanted to raise the thorn grass whip to fight, but unfortunately tried several times without success. In the end, it could only groan in the direction of its owner with its tearful bag. Surrender. The captain of the Luocho team still had a calm expression, and even the tone of asking if the enemy had surrendered was very ordinary, as if asking if they had ordered milk tea. Surrender, surrender. He caught the thorny wild boar running towards him, thin to the point of losing its appearance, gritting its teeth and making a sound. The winning team in this game is the Fallen Autumn team. At the moment the referee announced the winner, the scene was filled with excitement, and fans of the Fallen Autumn team were moved to tears. They changed their previous worries and said that they were the right fans. The film ends. How's it going? It's very handsome, isn't it? Xingchen turned his head excitedly to look at Huan Jelly, hoping to see the same fighting spirit as himself in the other person's eyes. Fantasy Jelly just stared at her for 3 seconds, then crawled back into the Mark's cup to continue cosplay coffee, showing his disinterest with his actions. Xingchen. The reaction was completely different from the expected one, causing Xingchen, who had not yet reacted in a short time, to lose his words. Wait. You come back. The script is not played like this. The brain repair fragments in her mind that were progressing hand in hand with Fantasy Jelly turned into nothing, and she calculated countless things but missed out on the child's unwillingness. Jelly baby. Dear Jelly. Jelly little cute, despite being rejected by the ugly, Xingchen still refused to give up persuasion, holding the handle of the cup and gently shaking it with the force of the cradle. Can you think about it again? How can you know if you don't like it without trying? Jelly. Can you give me a definite answer? Don't you want to become stronger? Jelly. A ball of red paint was thrown out of the cup. You can't just waste your time all the time, can you? Look at your pet companions, which one is not working hard with your pet master towards the peak of the competition? Watching the unreal jelly without any oil or salt, she didn't know how to handle it. She took off her cheeks and let out a gentle sigh. Okay, since you don't want to take the path of specializing in auxiliary skills. Yes. As Xingchen spoke, he suddenly realized. Maybe they don't even want to use auxiliary training methods. If they force the beast to act according to their ideals like this, they will become the tiger father and tiger mother that they didn't agree with in their past lives. She pointed to the screen. Let's let you choose and see what kind of cultivation direction you like. Fantasy Jelly finally poked its head out this time, confirming that the owner had no negative emotions of displeasure or impatience, and moved to the front of the phone. Swipe the touch screen with both hands, perhaps because it was sliding too quickly, and the short hand touched the randomly appearing advertising plugin. Hey. Xingchen wanted to close the window, but unfortunately was one step slow. Sparkling, pink and tender, the special effects of neither lifting nor lifting are mixed with lively and beautiful female voices, and the grand opening is unprepared. Hi. Good evening everyone, it's your favorite host again. A beautiful woman wearing a burgundy strapless fishtail skirt gracefully turned around, accompanied by a golden ponytail tied high with rose ribbons, flowing slowly. The bare hand wrapped in silk gloves pulled the microphone to his mouth. The bright red cherry lips open and close. Honey, Snow, my son. I believe everyone knows the purpose of my appearance. That's right. The highly anticipated preliminary selection for the charm competition is about to begin, and the registration time will start in the early morning of today. It will last for 2 weeks, and there will be no waiting time. Therefore, babies with star dreams should seize the time. Pink powder. Michelle's colorful jade butterfly flapped its crystal clear and colorful wings, effortlessly guiding the sunlight in the picture, playing tricks through the reflection of the wings on the snow-white background cloth. Firstly, announce the competition theme that everyone is most concerned about. Michelle reached into the transparent lottery box on the table and took out a piece of paper card, pretending to be mysterious for a while before opening it. When she saw the contents of the note, her expression suddenly became intriguing. Phantom Beasts and Bonds. The theme of this year's preliminary competition is Phantom Beasts and Ties. It's a seemingly simple but mysterious question. Next, it is time to announce the reward tokens selected for promotion. Host Michelle patted the front feet of Kailu Jade Butterfly, signaling her to start. The colorful jade butterfly stops playing and moves its thin wings. The originally cluttered and blurred color images on the background cloth began to merge, interweave, and deform into a high-definition image comparable to television imagery. A metal soft bracelet shimmering with emerald green light lay in a jewelry box, roughly totaling about 100 boxes, implying that there were only 100 spots for the preliminary round. The protection of the forest goddess. Michelle announced the answer. Her excitement almost turned into substance on her face, and she explained the value of this item with a thud of her mouth. Event sponsor. X Group specially sent an expedition team to collect bracelet materials and Chiba essence from the C-level Yidemon forest for this primary contest. Xingchen and Huan Jelly exchanged a glance. Chiba essence. As the name implies, there is a high probability that one of 1,000 leaves will have a green metallic color, and its grass energy value is comparable to 10 grass fairies, which is the essence of Chiba. Michelle's expression became more moving, and her posture of holding the microphone became more bold. Do you dare to believe it? A bracelet is enough to use a rare leaf like that. This is the treasure that all grass-based animal masters dream of seeking. If it weren't for her being the host, I would have been pink powder. The pink jade butterfly screamed and frantically waved its antennae into remnants. Michelle quickly put away the fierce face of the female man in that moment, coughed softly 3 times, and bent her eyebrows and eyes back into elegant crescent moon, laughing happily. Oh my! Anyway, Schwer welcomes all the contestants to actively participate here. Next is a review of the outstanding performances of participants over the years. The camera zooms in, the screen switches, and now we are playing archaeological videos from the recent charm competition. After switching the screen, I don't know if it was an illusion, but Xingchen vaguely heard a background sound. The little mistake they made earlier shouldn't have been recorded, right? I'm sorry, Miss Michelle. Help me cut it off. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Charm Competition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Charm Competition. 10 minutes later, the entire 20-minute charm competition promotional advertisement came to an end. The screen freezes, with the top 10 contestants from the previous year's charm contest preliminary round grinning their big white teeth towards the camera. There are 4 women and 2 men, with a wide age range, ranging from middle-aged handsome uncles to high school teenagers. Each person held a medal sign in their hand, and the excitement and pride on their faces almost overflowed the screen. What left a deep impression on people were the phantom beasts they carried, 4 jade butterflies, 3 star fire foxes, and 3 silk fairy fish. Well, this repetition rate is too high. But seeing the graceful dance of the jade butterfly and the handsome and eye-catching spark fox in the film, they were flicking their fluffy tails, scattering sparks scattered everywhere. Xingchen took it for granted and couldn't do anything about it. Who would say that their phantom beast has a high appearance value? She still remembers accidentally encountering a website online that specializes in inventing various ranking lists, and launching online voting from time to time. Everyone can vote for the mythical beast they think best fits the list. The theme of a certain ranking was, phantom beasts that make your heart skip a beat, and the 3 mentioned phantom beasts just now. Jade butterfly, star fire fox, and silk fairy fish all occupied the top 3 with cliff-like votes, a difference of 2 million votes from the 4th place. Thinking about Xingchen makes me angry. Fantasy Jelly didn't even make it to the top 100. These people are really blind. After the advertising video ended, she also roughly saw a hint of the competition. The charm competition is somewhat similar to an idol talent show from a past life, where various contestants collaborate on stage to showcase the most stunning performance of the phantom beast. The winner is determined through judges' scoring and public voting. The purpose is also easy to guess, to explore future stars in the entertainment industry. She scrolled through the reward information released by her official account in the comments section. In addition to the protection of 50 goddesses, the organizer has also prepared 10 junior pet artist contracts for the top 10, and the prizes for the top 3 are even more abundant. Bronze medal. 5,000 gold, X Group's shopping voucher, silver medal. Nuozhong Jade, gold medal. Champion jewelry. The organizer is thoughtful in their thinking. In this way, whether it is a pure amateur beast tamer who covets prizes, or those young girls who truly dream of becoming celebrities, they will definitely not miss this highly exposed and strongly motivated charm competition. Fantasy, the music has stopped long ago, and the fantasy jelly is clearly still not satisfied. The little body is learning from the first contestant in the film's Phantom Beast, the silk fairy fish, waving its long silk fins and spinning. Although it does not have a gorgeous tail fin, its small hands are gently swaying, and each move is quite standard. After finishing a dance, he bent down with a graceful bow to bid farewell. Xingchen applauded wildly and cheered incessantly, "You really have talent." Huan Jelly was shy and covered in powder all over her body. Her soft and elastic little finger pointed to the Santa on the screen, which looked like a walking cake, and then to Xingchen. Fantasy. Xingchen. She had a bad premonition that her hand couldn't be patted anymore. No, it's not what she thinks, is it? Xingchen. You said you want to participate in the competition. With me. Fantasy. Huan Jelly nodded, confirming Xingchen's speculation. No. I absolutely won't. Her face gradually wrinkled into sour dried plums. For those who are accustomed to minimalist style dressing, she resolutely does not put on makeup for major occasions with more than 50 people, and is a typical home girl who is accustomed to shrinking under the bed on her rest days. Xingchen instinctively wanted to blurt out his refusal. Imagine an exaggerated lace dress, heavy makeup, colorful powder, heavy gold and silver bracelets jingling, sparkling and playful performance on stage, just like an opera performer. After automatically replacing her face, she shuddered fiercely. She was about to blurt out a refusal. It's strange that she felt such a strong sense of pleasure and anticipation on her face, which was a gel-like illusion jelly without any facial features. This was a persistence she had never felt with him recently. Even if reason screams to make her leak, she opens her mouth and says things that go against her own will. Can it be fantasy? Little Jelly excitedly bounced twice, took out his favorite pink rice bowl from his mouth, pushed it toward Xingchen, and then tightly wrapped his hands around her wrists. However, she changed her serious face. The training before the charm competition is no easier than fighting against beasts. No matter how hard or tiring it is, you must persevere. You can't keep the heat for another 3 minutes. Fantasy. You can cry, you can complain, but you can't stop. Fantasy. Cough. But I will be with you throughout the journey. Xingchen felt a bit shy in the end, slightly averted his gaze, but his tone unconsciously softened. Fantasy. Fantasy Jelly kept asking and answering her questions, grabbing the owner's wrist from beginning to end, quietly listening to her talk. In addition, you still have to accompany me to the distribution of the school team alliance, and at least you can personally try the beast battle to understand whether you like it or not. Xingchen added in the end, feeling a bit worried that he might be being petty. But this time, Fantasy Jelly didn't hide in the Mark's cup and get angry anymore. Instead, she nodded and learned from the animation she watched a few days ago, reaching out a short hand to hook her up. Puzzy. Looking at the small expression on Fantasy Jelly, she couldn't help but be amused, and the slightly serious atmosphere also broke through. Okay. We pull the hook. Quota. As one person and one phantom beast approached the computer and chattered to fill out the registration form, the sound of the door lock turning came from the entrance. Hey, Lao Shen, be careful. At the door came Luo Feng's worries, mixed with the sound of countless heavy object impacts. Listen to this battle. Without a doubt, it's my parents. Convex Hill, Tuoyen. Muddy Ball Mouse and Muddy Flame Mouse also held hands on the side. One mouse held two people's bags, while the other mouse and Luo Feng helped the limping Shen father, Spring. The fountain turtle was the last to enter, thoughtfully lowering the safety lock and then opening its mouth, bang. A steam-filled water ball suddenly spat out of the turtle's mouth and slammed gently onto the wooden floor. In just a few seconds, the steam dissipated and the water ball collapsed layer by layer from top to bottom like a plucked orange. Without waiting for the sphere to completely disintegrate, a big cat emerged from inside, whimpering and bowing its back, leaping swiftly and landing with an arrow step above Shen's teak bookcase. With a disdainful expression on its face, it looked down at the Shen couple. Xingchen and Huan Jelly are in the blind spot of the big black cat. The big black cat has no time to pay attention to the wind and grass behind him, which makes Xingchen cheap. Taking advantage of the stalemate between his parents and Huan, he can see the appearance of the big black cat through the French window of the living room. The size is not average, it is twice as big as the giant cat mane in his previous life, almost comparable to a 5-year-old child. The overall coat color is pure to the extreme black, with a pointed face, short black fur, and golden cat pupils occasionally floating with a light red light, like burning liquid gold blocks flowing in the eyes, noble, dangerous, and mysterious. At this moment, the big black cat stopped bowing its back, its paws stretched and shrunk, and it casually rubbed its paws on the bookshelf. This action directly ignited Lao Shen's lead. Although the wood material of the teak bookcase under the feet of the big black cat is not very precious, it is of great significance. It was his first entry into the C-level Phantom Beast Forest 6 years ago and a 300-round battle with a wild plant species Phantom Beast that he obtained as a trophy. Good guy. The passionate memories of my youth were used by you to grind my feet. Alright. You're great. You're not enough to cripple me with just one leg, you also need Huohua's bookshelf. Watching Shen Fu's angry and innocent face meet, the big black cat stared at him with dazzling golden eyes, tilting its head 30 degrees to the left and pausing its hand movements. If you know you're wrong, you dare to roll down. Is that how kind-hearted I was to take you in as a reward? Kara kara kara. The big black cat's paws are moving again, and this time they are grinding out remnants quickly. Shen Fu. I feel like my bottom line has been repeatedly challenged. Who can bear this? He roared and suddenly stood up, blurting out, Fountain Turtle, use the high-pressure water gun, yo 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 yo. Unfortunately, his soaring aura could not last for 3 seconds, and he sat back on the sofa with a heroic cry while supporting his legs. My eyes were about to crack, and my nostrils were breathing one by one, gradually synchronizing with the fountain turtle on the side that would also use its nostrils to snort sulfur vapor. Xingchen. During this period, she had already fully understood that although the father of the original owner occasionally had a loose and out-of-tune temperament, his heart was actually softer than anyone else. He was an old and passionate beast tamer who ventured and adventured everywhere. After a moment of silence, she chose to cut into the topic and said, Dad, where did this cat come from? Shen's father still stared at the big black cat, as if someone had moved their eyes first and surrendered by default. This cat, he said. No one noticed that just as the girl finished speaking, the big black cat's ears trembled imperceptibly twice. He only realized now that there were other human beings in the room besides these annoying beast guards. And he does not reject the human breath. The big black cat opened its mouth and yawned in a cat-like manner, bowing its head to lick its paws. But so what? Humans are just a group of righteous people, and there are also those contract beasts of the beast tamer. They are so foolish and like to be moved by themselves, sad and pitiful. He squinted his cat pupils and sharply turned his gaze towards the girl. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. 8 Big Black Cats. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Big Black Cat. He squinted his cat pupils and sharply turned his gaze towards the girl. Shen's father also followed his gaze and finally found that the black cat's gaze was fixed on his own daughter Xingchen, causing his heart to suddenly shrink. Subconsciously shouting, Fountain Turtle. Before Shen Fu could finish issuing the attack command, Luo Fong beside him spoke in a sharp and gentle voice, no longer as gentle as before, cold and full of murderous intent. Ball, make the unearthed cage. Tu Chio, the confused ball mouse rubbed a white question mark pattern located in the middle of its furry belly, and then the light brown little hamster jumped up and rolled in the air. The white question mark emitted a brilliant light, and the next second, a handful of soft soil suspended in mid-air in front of its chest. Without saying a word, the confused ball mouse controlled the soil to attack the big black cat. With a palm-sized handful of soil, the visible weight of the soil increased, like a group of infinitely reproducing small flying insects fiercely attacking. At this time, the big black cat had previously gone through a battle with the people in the Loquat neighborhood and was already exhausted, falling to the point where even the fountain turtle could easily be subdued, let alone the confused ball mouse of the same class as the turtle. Woo-woo. The big black cat let out low growls, its bright eyes calmly watching as the earth-colored flying insects quickly coalesced, forming a cage twice as large as its cat body. Bang bang. Under the hood of the cage, there was a loud and piercing sound, but the ears of the big black cat only slightly exploded, and then did not show much resistance. Just staring intently at Xingchen through the hard earth cage, without any aggression, only pure curiosity. The crystal in the cat's pupils is like several small stones continuously falling into the shimmering golden river water, rippling incessantly. This black cat is the animal species phantom that accidentally entered the sour and sweet neighborhood in the news, Shen Fu said, his eyes still wary as he looked at the cat in the cage. Isn't the noodle shop located on Loquat Street? It shouldn't have happened just a few blocks away. Xingchen approached the earthen cage in confusion, while the black cat approached her like a simple and curious kitten, stretching out its paws from the cracks of the cage and softly stepping on milk in the air. That's funny. This guy went door to door and vandalized 30 storefronts and tied theft doors and windows, breaking into the storage and garage of no less than 40 Western-style buildings on the street. Huohuo Swan Gan Street and several other blocks were not enough, and even Loquat Street almost fell victim to his claws. After feeding the confused ball mouse a phantom animal gummy, Luo Fong added to the side, "If it weren't for your dad and Uncle Yang from the neighboring fruit shop who happened to be closed and off work, he would have stopped him from continuing to throw things. I really don't know what kind of feelings everyone would have when they saw a mess tomorrow." Shen's father lightly tapped the thick cast on his calf with his finger joints, frowned, and said thoughtfully, "Based on my judgment after a few rounds of fighting with him, this guy's ability should be close to the purple copper level." In the world of beasts, besides the panel holder, they can clearly see the specific values, levels, skills, and so on of the phantom beasts. In the eyes of Blue Star Beast Master, the strength level division of phantom beasts is very similar to theirs, just like the upgrade route of copper, silver, and gold levels. But it's uncertain when the beasts will evolve. Most beasts rely on training to become strong enough, and when the time comes, they will naturally evolve. A small part of it is uncertain, but according to the recorded conditions of the evolution of mythical beasts, it can be said that there are many strange and cognitive disruptions, like a small seedling dove, a flying animal species called a mythical beast. The initial form is a gray and inconspicuous little bird ball, but there are 12 evolutionary forms alone, with different attributes and appearances, and varying levels of difficulty in the threshold for evolution. The most enviable and difficult to evolve among them is the red-feathered peacock, a mythical creature of both fire and flight lineages. As soon as it flapped its wings and took off with great momentum, it could be vaguely seen the figure of the half-fire mythological species, the fierce phoenix. This once made the beast masters flock to it, unable to subdue the true mythological beast Lai Fenghuan, and unable to obtain his double. The small seedling dove, which led to numerous F.level phantom beast forest on Blue Star, was heavily captured in the past few years. As a result, the supply of goods in the phantom beast breeding park was cut off, and only a few were sold at high prices. But a fatal blow followed one after another, and countless animal masters worked hard to cultivate and evolve, but both failed without fail. Some people are unwilling and even willing to pay a high price to come up with the secret of the evolution of the little seedling dove hidden by the animal master who owns the red-feathered peacock, who knew they didn't hide anything and even chuckled, "Maybe this red-feathered peacock of mine loved to eat spicy food during the time of the little seedling dove." One day, after winning a competition, I took him to eat 10 times spicy hell instant noodles. After finally finishing it, I looked up and said, "Wow. Red-feathered peacock. Everyone. Do you want to listen to what you're saying about Tianfang night talk for yourself? Just, even if it's true, you tell me. Where did you find the second little seedling dove who loves spicy food?" So the crisis of the extinction of the small seedling dove gradually came to an end. However, one wave after another has not yet subsided, and the circle of animal trainers has once again become popular with the trend of feeding various exotic flavors of food to mythical beasts. In short, this is why Shen Fu cannot accurately estimate the true strength of the big black cat. Well, actually, there is another way to know. That's the phantom beast contract. At the moment when the contract for the mythical beast is signed, the owner can fully understand the strength of the mythical beast through the frequency of brain waves transmitted back by the beast guard bracelet. Shen's father gritted his back teeth at the thought of this, unwilling to accept it. Recently, he finally rose from the red-silver level to the orange-silver level, freeing up a space for a contract phantom beast. However, who could have imagined that even if he subdued the big black cat with the fountain turtle, that guy would still be stubborn? The path of military deterrence was impassable, but gentle persuasion and persuasive words were ineffective. In a fit of anger, he kidnapped him home. After Luofeng finished telling the story, Xingchen became confused. According to the laws of China, if a wild beast is encountered outside of the beast forest, a surrender contract can be made. However, if the surrender fails and the beast refuses to comply, no further compulsory contract can be made. The beast must be completely intact and unharmed before being sent to the nearby police for filing. They will send the beast back to the beast forest as quickly as possible. Xingchen. Dad, you broke the law. Luo Fang glanced lightly at Shen's father and said, I have tried to persuade him with a kind voice. Unfortunately, someone is stubborn and doesn't appreciate it. Shen Fu. Ha, ha, Shen's father was attacked by the condemning hot gaze of the two mothers and daughters. Realizing his guilt, he chuckled a few times before continuing, I was impulsive at that time. I'll send him back tomorrow. Seeing that the mother and daughter were full of distrust on their faces, Shen's father straightened his attitude. In order to avoid further discussion on this topic, he brought up the matter of discussing with Luo Fang today and wanted to inform Xingchen in advance. Cough. Let's not talk about this for now. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. 9 Help. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Help. He said he wanted to bring up the matter, but Shen's father hesitated for a while but couldn't hold back a word. Let's talk about it, daughter. In law. Luo Fang glared at Shen's father with anger. As he approached speaking, his face also turned sad, mixed with a hint of reluctance. Mom and Dad's guild recently received a task that requires a long time to leave home, about for a year. Xingchen and Huan Jelly nodded together, waiting for Luo Fang to continue speaking. The more Luo Fang looked at these two adorable little ones, the greater her reluctance grew in her heart. She suddenly turned her head to look at Father Shen. Are we really going? Selling more bowls of noodles is actually the same. Despite his love for exploration, Shen's father couldn't bear to miss his daughter for a long time. However, he still suppressed the slightest hesitation and shook his head at Luo Fang, explaining to his confused daughter. Xiaoxing, this mission is to explore the unrecorded B.level Phantom Beast Forest. Your mother and I finally made it to the top 200 in the guild team battle and secured the first exploration spot. In addition to the elf stone of fantasy jelly and the sunlight grass that is beneficial to the fountain turtle, there are also more expensive phantom beast materials. Any one placed on the market is a great treasure for millions of dollars. The price level of Blue Star is quite high. Taking the public market price of meat buns in a typical steamed bun shop as an example, 2 gold is a reasonable price, and a simple bowl of spicy noodles costs only 10 gold. After deducting the cost, the net profit is only a small 5 gold. During an adventure, they randomly picked up the most basic mythical beast resources, and the special stones and grass were enough to match the thousands of bowls of noodles they had worked hard to sell. Even the foolish and unclear beast tamer will never miss this good opportunity. Xingchen understood the inner struggles of his parents. It's nothing more than worrying about her daughter, who is weak, sickly, not strong enough, and her appearance is prone to trouble. However, if she leaves their protective umbrella, she will suffer a series of unknown changes. She picked up the phantom jelly and said, Don't worry. I still have the phantom jelly. Fantasy. Jelly hit the air with a set of meow punches. And the test results are also out. She opened the link attached to her phone's text message, which meticulously recorded her brain wave activity value of up to 400 and the test results of her special physique. According to the benefits offered by the School Team Alliance, after successfully obtaining the quota, regardless of which team, the school will allow students to stay in student dormitories for free. The security system of Li Shurigao is still very reliable after all. Who would be so reluctant to go and provoke a gathering of elites? The students are all hard to deal with, and can be called the top scorer in the pear market of Longtan Tiger Cave. Just now the school informed me that I have already received the quota. On the selection day, they actually had a rough idea about their daughter's qualifications. Watching Xingchen casually use the copper-colored bracelet, there was no obstacle in the process of contracting the illusion jelly. As simple as eating and drinking water. They estimate it could be 350. 360, the values on the report seem to blame them for their shallow knowledge. 400, they lost their voices for a moment and then looked down. One what? All spiritual bodies. The two couples took a glance at each other, and after seeing the same shock in each other's eyes, they confirmed the huge surprise that had descended from the sky and was difficult to digest. That's what it is. Shen's father felt a buzzing sound in his mind and couldn't help but stutter while speaking. It was Luo Fang who first regained her composure and answered Shen's father's inquiry. You complained to the news before about that ridiculous Udemon cat mint. Shen's father fell into a state of confusion. My daughter is the legendary cat mint. Lao Shen. I'll just say that our daughter is in high spirits. Luo Fang took her phone and looked back and forth at the checklists printed in bold and black letters. During her student days, she didn't memorize the text so seriously. Every time she scanned them with her eyes, her heart was filled with pride countless times. After handing her phone to Shenfu, she walked happily towards the kitchen. Is this a habit of Xingchen Mama? Apart from animal racing, her favorite thing is cooking. When she is unhappy, she goes to the kitchen. When she is extremely happy, her hands itch and she wants to touch the pots, dishes, ladles, and spoons. Luo Fang poked her head out from the kitchen and asked. Are you still hungry? Mom will make you some corn kernel soup as a late-night snack. By the way, he blinked at Fantasy Jelly and said, Little Jelly also has a share. Thank you, Mom. Fantasy, wife. Do more of my share too. Get lost. Okay. The next morning, Xingchen decided to go to the noodle shop with Fantasy Jelly to replace his father's vacancy. Before leaving, the big black cat, who had been staying in the earth cage all night, also opened its eyes and looked at her quietly. Perhaps it was an illusion, she felt a hint of melancholy and irritability in the mysterious and attractive cat pupils. Originally, Shen's father's job was to receive guests, order orders, and check out, but now his calves are in plaster and he can only rest well. Moreover, this trip was not just about helping out. She wanted to take this opportunity to help the foundation of Fantasy Jelly solidify, whether it's the charm competition or the training for beast fighting. This training session is indispensable. After watching more than 30 performance videos of superhero creatures yesterday, she gradually discovered an issue. The participating superpower-type phantom beasts, although not like other attributes, always repeat those few in rotation. But overall, it's not that good either. The performance routine is so uniform that she can almost guess what ingredients will be added in the previous second and what dishes will be produced in the next second. Without any freshness or appeal. And if it's other mythical beasts, there are also archaeological videos for reference, providing Xingchen, a pure novice, with some ideas on performance configuration. But when she searched through the records of charm competitions and other similar performance competitions in the past few decades, she couldn't believe that there was no Fantasy Jelly. Xingchen. What can I do? I have filled out all the registration forms. Even if it's a stand-up comedy, I have to grit my teeth and come on stage. In the end, she had no choice but to reluctantly refer to the films of the Fantasy Fairy and the Fantasy Weasel in the Fantasy family. Although most of them were limited to qualifying, the better ones were only able to make it to the top 50, which was not very impressive. But it provides her with a lot of inspiration on how to apply attack skills in performance competitions. Although the concept of the final performance only has a vague outline, Xingchen, who has undergone a series of systematic training in the college entrance examination in his past life, understands the importance of laying a solid foundation more than anyone else. It's possible that there may be any special insights during the basic training process. Learn by doing, and practice to gain true knowledge. Now, with more than 1 or 2 hours left until 11:00, which is the opening time of the noodle shop, Xingchen and Huan Jelly have been assigned to the noodle-making work. Watching the magical jelly that uses its hardening skills and vigorously jumps on the huge fermented dough. Xingchen was not idle either. He skillfully kneaded the noodles that had just been pounded with fantasy jelly on the side, cut them into flat strips with a scraper and set them aside for later use. After being busy for a while, I took a break and wiped the sweat off my forehead with a handkerchief. In my spare time, I opened the panel and then clicked on the illusionary beast card guide. As expected, I saw the expected changes. Fantasy jelly, 15/999 plus, skills. Hardening. F, 920, phantom mask. E, 6 out of 80, mindfulness. F, October 20th, free. E, 13 out of 80, she gritted her chin and pondered deeply. Her hardening skills have indeed improved, but this progress is a bit slow. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. The Charm of Fantasy Jelly. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. The charm of fantasy jelly. Is there a way to accelerate the growth rate of fantasy jelly? The idea that Xingchen suddenly came up with was to rely on auxiliary drugs, the original potion. First of all, excluding the method of purchasing from a specialized pet pharmacy, a small bottle of 100 ml level 1 original potion with a minimum price of 500 gold can be purchased. What's even more frustrating is that the purchased product is still a genuine, fake product. She once saw in the memory of little sister Xingchen that Shen Fu assisted in making according to the ratio provided by her pharmacist colleagues. The original potions sold on the market are made by heating and melting a small piece of nail cap-sized attribute source stone to a liquid state, then dividing the liquefied source liquid into 10 bottles, and finally adding life dew to mix evenly. A small bottle of original potions priced at 500 gold is heated and released from the furnace. This is still the one with the least obvious effect. If you want to pursue an instant effect, you need to buy at least a level 3 or higher potion, but the price will increase exponentially. Extracting from the panel card pool after careful consideration, she gave up on this idea, which was unrealistic and not down to earth. This was not her way of doing things. The key point is that it's too wasteful for her now, and she wants to level up several levels in a row, so she can directly draw her soul with a Phantom Beast card. However, no matter how much she hesitates and thinks too much, it is futile. After all, her current favorability is very low in Stardust Xingchen. 99, when did it rise to 99? Did she remember taking a moment to take a glance before her parents came home last night, or was she still motionless? 11, at 00, the noodle shop at the intersection of Pipa Road still opened on time. Luo Fang raised the iron roll door at the main entrance of Shen's noodle shop, hung a small hanging sign indicating, in business, and attached a notice in the most prominent position of the glass sliding door announcing that business would be suspended in a few weeks. In the kitchen behind the noodle shop, Xingchen put on a specially customized small uniform top for Fantasy Jelly and wrapped it in an apron of the same reduced size, taking into account the colorful and shiny style that Fantasy Jelly prefers. She was still sticking a circle of small diamonds around her plain white apron. Fantasy Jelly spun around the shiny iron bowl that had been washed, becoming increasingly satisfied with the new shape reflected on it, presenting a warm orange-yellow color throughout. Do you remember the employee training we just practiced with you? Fantasy Huan Jelly nodded, picked up the small note paper and the 5 cm long pencil that Luo Fang had prepared for him in advance, and began to simulate the process in an orderly manner. Pointing to the wall, signal the guest to first look at the menu on the wall, wait a few seconds, and then wave the notebook and pencil with their short hand. At this point, this action means: have you made a decision? Hurry up and place an order with him. Xingchen felt no problem and patted his hands, saying, "Great, let's start working." When Fantasy Jelly arrived at the dining area of the noodle shop, there were already scattered groups of guests seated in the 20 square meter space. Due to the proximity of Mianguan to middle and high schools, and the fact that the school offers off-campus dining for students, most of the current guests are students. Luo Fang also took advantage of the leisure time when the kitchen staff, Xingchen, was boiling hot water and preparing soup and seasonings, and left the kitchen to chat with the guests, exchanging the latest gossip among the neighbors. "Aunt Luo, do you know that as I walked all the way, I saw several nearby blocks being blocked by the police. Loquat Street is quite lucky. If it is blocked, it will definitely affect business." Luo Feng is not someone who likes to be outspoken and does not want to show that she and Shen's father have actually contributed to prevent the destruction of Pepa Street. For the topic they raised, she only showed a very interested expression, agreeing with it. The little girl's friend also said, "It's all on the news. It's just a pity." When the security team went to catch it, it seemed like they were a step too late. That wild phantom had long disappeared. Let me guess, this place will also be lively for a while in the short term. There must be countless beast guards sneaking around to try to tame him. The little girl looked puzzled and even a little resentful. How can I say that? He's so wild and difficult to train, and he loves to cause damage. Even if he looks very cute, I wouldn't want to contract him. "Ah, you are truly a young and foolish girl," her friend explained in a mature manner. "Think about it, being able to escape the pursuit of the police and successfully break into countless stores with such a well-developed security system, causing considerable losses, actually indirectly proves his ability. According to the mentality of Blue Star Beast Master Mu Chang, someone must have been tempted by the idea of taking him into their pocket. With only 3 free contract opportunities every year, they haven't been able to successfully hold hands with the other party's mythical beasts 100%. Now that this news comes out, it's like throwing a ready-made opportunity to increase combat power onto the streets and holding a limited time and limited quantity sale." Upon hearing this, the girl immediately drew inferences and said, "Even if the surrender is not successful, they will be arrested and sent to the nearby Public Security Bureau, in order to eliminate harm to the people. Maybe we can still get some rewards." As she spoke, her previous prejudices were shattered, and her imagination gradually twisted, directly connecting to the movie clip of Justice Beast Master. The recognition from the local Public Security Bureau and the teacher, as well as the admiration from peers, let's give it a try. Although we haven't had any beasts yet. The girl was speaking directly up when suddenly her friend beside her lightly pushed her shoulder. Hey. Look. Is he looking at us? At some point, their lively chat group silently added another friend. Fantasy Jelly had long used its free movement skills to cross layers of tables and chairs to reach her 2 best friends on the table. When she saw them looking at her, it automatically triggered the employee training SOP. Finger at the wall and wave your notebook. Fantasy. Girls. What kind of phantom beast is this? Luo Feng understood their expressions. It's my daughter's superpower type phantom beast, Phantom Jelly. Aunt Luo, can we go back and help you with your order? Okay. Luo Feng disappeared at the kitchen door, and the 2 best friends refocused their gaze on Fantasy Jelly. Fantasy. Fantasy Jelly waved its short hand again. Card Kawa. It was like dancing square dance on their cute spot, and their hearts were trembling with excitement. 2 girls from the 2nd year of junior high school are now holding their fingers, eagerly counting down the significant days after the high school entrance exam when they contract their first phantom beast. As moderately fluffy individuals, they have always believed that the first opportunity for a contract should be reserved for an animal species called a phantom beast, which has a good hand feel, amazing fur, and will blink its pupils to coquettish you. But now they have encountered Fantasy Jelly, using only a pair of short hands, a pen, and a notebook, easily causing their love for the furry creature that has been built for years to collapse. It's decided. Wait, then quit the fanbase of Yuya Yigo. From now on. Official entry into the Fantasy Jelly teaching. The 2 girls took out their phones and operated fiercely, worrying whether it was too late to join the fan group of Fantasy Jelly now. Don't you have a fan group yet? How could it be? Even the insect-like mythical creature Stinky Bug has a fan base of up to 100,000, how could such a cute person not be? Dare to be so kind. As the big fan of the Fantasy Jelly Support Club, it's better for us to serve respectfully than obediently. Hehe, you still think? The two girls were happily discussing a plan to control many fans, but they didn't know that Fantasy Jelly, who had been waiting for a long time, thought they hadn't made a decision yet and decided to swim to another table to help other students order meals. Not surprisingly, similar disturbances were caused wherever they went. End of this chapter.